Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another Winning Ways show where we've got the fun-full program, and on top of that, some pretty good information. We're going to be chatting about the start of the Big Cape season. We're going to be looking at Winks, and we're also going to be having a look at how to train a racehorse. It's a slot that we've picked up on the internet, which is very interesting. It shows how you should actually train a racehorse, and I think
we should all watch.
Yeah, well, I certainly need lessons. So
yeah, no, me too. I'll be in the queue watching.
Yeah. So it's quite an interesting show that was put together, I think, at Jamie Osborne's yard. Okay. And that's in your call. It's a 3-part show. We'll show it over a period of time so you can get the feel of what's going on and see what it takes training a racehorse. But we had quite a fun-filled weekend of sport.
Yeah, we'll start with our usual soccer. You know, Spurs got beaten late against Man United at Old Trafford.
How bad was Dyer?
He made a mistake.
He made a mistake.
I thought he played well there. He made a mistake there, and that happens. That's what it's about. But we should have won it with Dele Alli. The keeper to beat, and he pushed it past the post from the through ball. But they were no better than us.
They were worse than you.
Good luck to them. I don't want to stand here and be saying, "Oh,
you're good losers."
Good losers. Take it in stride.
Good
losers.
Yeah.
I thought Man City came under a bit of pressure. Shows that this league's we've got a long way to go. Arsenal, your team, are looking good again. They came from behind. Yeah, they picked up again. Good. Yeah, they picked up. I think Arsenal are doing well.
When that would have been, we would have been calling for the rope.
No, there 2 good games they played in a row. I thought Chelsea worked hard to get their win. It's very hard to go to Bournemouth.
What happened during the week with you guys?
We went out to the Tupperware Cup.
Yeah.
Made 7 changes, 2-0 up, and got beat 3-2.
Beautiful.
Set pieces. No, for me it's better. No, for me it's better.
You're great losers. I love the way that you. That's why Tottenham fans are all such nice people. But really, at the end of the day, you want to be like Mourinho. You want to be a bad loser.
No, show me a bad loser. I'll show you a permanent loser. You keep your bad losers. Be a good person. Life's about being a good person.
You got all. But
James, what about? I wouldn't want to be an Everton fan.
No.
They rolled again. No. Sure. No. They can't get it right.
But Jay Ramsden was pretty pleased about his team.
West Ham?
Yeah.
He won't be. Yeah. He won't be pleased. He'll be in a fouler mood than I could ever be. They're 2-1 up. They're into 5th minute of injury time. They're going to win 2-1. The mug on the wing clips the ball, and instead of playing for time kicking it, clips it, and the keeper gets it, sends it forward. Zaha scores 2-2. The West Ham guys went mad. They should never have lost. There should have been 2 wins on the bounce for Vidic.
Yeah.
But it's looking good. The league's looking good. It's competitive, and there's a long way to go. And Liverpool bounced back. You know, they've been very good at home. They've only conceded 1 goal at home. So I think all those top sides are happy, except Spurs.
Okay. And what about the top rugby side? Didn't I not tell you last week?
You did. Okay, when it comes to rugby, I bow to superior knowledge. I've got to give it to you. You were right again.
Different class, those 2 centres of Province.
You know, I think
they made a difference.
The same thing happened to us. We were leading at half time. We were playing the great rugby in front of a good crowd, and they didn't give us the ball second half. And the longer we played, the more they were going to win by. They were better than us. The coach there, what's his name, Dobson. He knows his stuff.
John Dobson, and he's got a good team around him.
Good team around. He's no monkey. Yeah. But anyway, we got the finals. Well done to Robert Dupree. Well done. That was it. Again, it's disappointing. But David Miller.
How was that?
How did he get the world record for quickest century?
35 balls. Absolutely unbelievable.
He hit 1 guy for 5 sixes and over.
Well, how cross was he when he didn't get the 6th?
Yeah, he got a single. He got a single. Well done.
He's a rare talent, David Miller.
Why are they not playing him in Test match? Look at his 4-day record.
He should be playing in every single form of the cricket.
He's a control player.
I've spoken to his father about this on a number of occasions, and unfortunately, politics does come into cricket.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Into everything.
No doubt about it. And we had interesting soccer at home, and golf. I see DJ fell apart.
You've never seen anything like it. It was the meltdown of meltdowns.
Yes.
7 over par he shot the last round.
Of Greg Norman proportions.
I think 5 over par he shot, yes. And he lost a 7-stroke lead.
Yes.
I must say, Justin Rose
Stuck to it.
He deserved to win, and I'm very pleased for him. He's got South African connections, so good for him. I'd actually backed Stenson after round 3.
He played well.
And he tossed it. You know, he looked like he had a chance. But he hit it in the water on 17, which is not a good thing to do when you're one behind the lead.
Nedbank Challenge is coming?
Nedbank Challenge.
Do you ever go and watch that? I've never been.
I used to go... When I lived in Johannesburg, I was lucky enough to be invited with the right guys, and I used to go every single year. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
look, I owed Nedbank so much money that they had to. I was the first guy to be invited. You know, they hoped that I'd make a payment. But
well, let's go racing.
Shall we go racing first?
Let's go racing. What do you think?
There's just there was a couple of other things that needed to be talked about. Did you watch the Grand Prix last night?
No, I didn't.
Amazing. Hamilton and Vettel had a touchy argy-bargy on the first. Verstappen got through. He had argy-bargy with them. And he won, Verstappen, the Dutchman. He's the star of the future. Hamilton and Vettel were last and second last going through after the first lap. Hamilton got a puncture. Vettel lost his nose cone.
Is the title race over?
Vettel got to 5th, I think, and Hamilton got to 10th or 9th, and
so it's
title race is over. No,
it's
title
over.
race is over. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So good luck to Hamilton.
Good luck to Hamilton. Good
First British
driver.
4-time world champion, and so he deserved it. Let's go and have a look at 3 to follow. Right, let's go to Durbanville, Wednesday, race 1. We pick up in the Gerber colours, Springman by Marshfield. This ran a very good race.
Marshfield?
Fort Wood mare. Marshfield, Springman.
No, he's in a box next to him is going to be US Navy flag.
Yeah.
That stallion's coming in. You know, we spoke about it last week. It's Hydrangea's booty, isn't it?
Yeah. He's beautifully bred, and they've got him and Admiral's kitten. We'll be talking about Kitten's Joy later in the program as well. Okay. So
well done
this
to
Marshfield is a resident stallion. Let's go and see. His horses are just starting to show some pretty decent form. This was a good run.
Yeah, there it is. You can by now famous colours of Chris Gerber. And Marshfield, his stallion, starting to step them out now. Keep an eye on them. They've taken their time, but they're getting there. And interesting race. The winner is on the right-hand side. It's a horse called Bernie from the Candice Bass Robinson stable. And this wins a good race. Refined Bachelor, November Storm. They all show speed up there. But the horse we found is in the yellow cap. It's 3 deep. And it's way off the speed early, James.
Yeah, he's got a lot of ground to make up. And when you see him in the straight, you'll realise what a good run this was. Because Bernie's sitting in the pole position right on the fence. The other horse is holding off him. He's got blinkers on. You would wonder why Xanthus is holding off him, but maybe there's better going off the fence. And Bernie goes straight down the inside and wins convincingly. But the one we picked up, Springman, midfield, comes widest of all. You pick him up now. Black horse comes down the middle of the track. He's out of a Fort Wood mare. He'll go all day, this horse. The 7 furlongs too sharp for him.
Bernie's now fighting it out with Refined Bachelor, the two of them. And you can see Bernie has really got into it. But 2 horses are running on well. The horse we found called Springman and What a Joker, stablemate to the winner. So here the winner looks home, all hunky-dory, James.
Yeah, sorry, Refined Bachelor was also picking up around the bend. It was off the fence. But here comes Springman, runs on really well, gets a couple of reminders, and another stride or two, he wins it. And that was a very, very good run indeed.
Be with that next time.
So he's certainly worth having a look at. Certainly over a trip. I would think even 7 furlongs might be on the sharp side for him. We're going to move to the Vaal, and this was the outside track, race 2. They went 1,000 metres. This is a Silvano filly out of a Spectrum mare. Cost $1 million, owned by Bernard Cantor and Mayfair Speculators. Let's go and pick her up. Trained by Johan Janssen van Vuren. He's got a bunch of horses. This is drawn 5.
Yeah, this is a sparkling run. Gets out the gate well enough. The eventual winner is Illa de Var, who had the form, and that will make its run up the outside. You'll see Illa de Var come with a great run. But the horse we found is getting a very decent ride by Donovan. He's just kept it just off the speed. The speed's on, and you've got Steffi Croft and Juanita and horses like Monarch Street showing speed. And at this stage, it looks like anything's got a chance. But as I say, the winner wins on the outside. But the unraced horse, you can pick it out in Bernard Cantor's colours. I know there's a few in yellow, but it's got the nose band, and it's about third or fourth here.
Yes, Ella de Vars just behind it actually quickens up better than it and shows you what racing does. Because here's Ella de Vars on the outside, and then 2 away in the yellow sleeves with the sheepskin noseband is the filly we picked up, Tia, and she's definitely going to go a trip. 1,000 meters is on the sharp side for her, but she certainly runs a really good race. Only a lack of racing got her beat, and she'll go and win some races.
That's right, I agree with you there. Right, the next one, we're going to Turfies.
We're going to Turffontein, 1,400 meters. This was Saturday, and twice over filly, trained by Paul Peter, and owned by O'Brien's and the Zackies, bred by Maritz Fontaine. This is a very, very nice filly. She's, as I say, twice over out of a very good race mare, Escalita Fitz, and we thought she ran a cracking good race. She didn't know what it was all about until the last 100 meters. Let's go pick her up.
Yeah, James, she found a lot of support, a lot of money for this horse. The stable's been having a good patch, and the money came on this horse. But it's, as James says, only late in the race do you see the best. It's yellow with the black chevron across it, dropping onto the fence. The pace is on early, and in the blinkers we can see it's Queensbury Square, I think it is, who goes out very hard. The horse that I thought would run well, Quick Glimpse, is up in second, and not far off the pace is the horse we found you, but I think very green up the stretch, James.
Yes, she's actually caught behind a horse that really dies on her quickly, and that really doesn't do her any good, because she's in the race, but the horse in front of her is under pressure, and she pulls off the fence. Ryan Munger pulls her off the fence to give her a chance, and she's got the white face there. You can see her about 5th place at the moment. And she's a bit tight, and she looks like she wants to go, but she's got nowhere really to go. The horse in the blinkers on her outside, Steffi's Graft, has got her a bit tight.
At the cutaway, you can see Scott Kenny's Rolled Silver has come from behind her. It's quickened up beautifully to win with Gunther Frochman, who's really right at the top of his game. But this horse here, James, she's going nowhere at the moment.
Yeah, she looks like she runs 5th at best, and she gets a right-handed smack, and then suddenly he changes stick to the left hand. You'll see now he changes stick to the left hand, and she really gets, he just changes it over, and she really gets the move on. She'll win races, this filly. She's quite a nice filly. Looked well in the parade ring, and certainly looks like she's a runner. So those 3, certainly worth having a look at them. And I think that they might pay to follow. The couple that we had, Holland's Holiday, that won extremely well. We said wait for that to go a mile. That ended up winning well. The horses in the 3 to follow, coming home smartly. We're going to move on to This Shouldn't Happen.
There are 5 different marks for artistic, 21 or 16 marks for the technical scores. Really shut down there, lost his movement as she does a turn, staying in the piaffe. Oh, and going, oh, this is huge here. This is what he did in the special. He just completely sold out on her, just gave it up.
Well, there you go. You see,
that's
you got
a great footage.
You like that?
That tickles me, Fig. The horse is to get him massaged or whatever.
Getting a proper massage.
Fascinating. And it's stretched out. Lovely.
You think dogs like it? Dogs and cats lie on their back. Horses, you can try it at home with your pony. See if you can get it to lie on its back and give it a little massage, and then see what happens after that. Because if you watch the unabridged version on that,
when you get a kick in the chops, don't be offended. I can't believe
happen at home anyway. They're quite fun. We're going to go and have a look at the plum of the week.
And it's Master and Commander who's in the lead. Second place, Laws of Succession, the white cap. Story of My Life is right there. Masters are. Load Shedder looks dangerous, and he's now bursting in between runners. Further back to Platinum Prince on the outside. Ollivander may have a say, but it's Load Shedder in the lead with 1 length advantage. Second place is Laws of Succession. Nebula's coming out of the pack with Ollivander. Platinum Prince, but it's Nebula in the lead. He's got 1 length over Ollivander. Then comes Masters are. It's Nebula, and he's going to go back to back. Nebula wins the Algoa Cup by 2. Ollivander second, then Stormy Eclipse, followed by Masters Eye and Load Shedder.
Well, a good weekend was had by all at Fairview. They had the Friday and the Sunday, the big race meeting there, the Algoa Cup, and we had to put this horse in because if you actually study form and remember what happens in races, last year this horse dawdled this race, and he was virtually favourite for the July. You could have got 10 to 1 on Interbet at best. 10 to 1.
I won this race once before the Algoa Cup with Shining Rock.
Shining Rock,
yeah,
absolutely.
Shipped him in. Shining Rock won it. Yeah, Nebula's a very good horse, James. He's been highly touted for a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know his history. He was bought by Tony Millard for a Hong Kong owner.
That's right.
Edmund Sue, I think 3.5 million. He was an expensive horse, and Brett Crawford's done a job with him. You know, we thought that this horse might be a July winner, and he just goes off at that time of the year. That's another really good lesson as far as people who want to back horses. Horses come right at a certain time of the year. Quite a lot of them. Absolutely. This horse obviously loves the spring, loves to get the sunshine on his back, and that's when he comes to his best. But I must say, you've got to compliment Bernard Fade Herb. He rode an unbelievable race. Draw 16. You'll see that the horses around second, third, and fourth were drawn 6, 1, and 2. And he put this horse in the right place and only got at him when the race was really getting in earnest. And, you know, top weight 59, I thought it was a cracking good run. But
very good.
He certainly looked like a horse you had to have a bet on, and well done to Eastern Cape Racing for a wonderful weekend's racing.
Very good.
Well worth going down there and having a look and spending the Friday to Sunday down there. Right, we're going to take a break and we'll be back with current affairs.
Hi, my name is Gregory Blank. I'm an ex-stockbroker and involved in private equity and stock markets. But my passion for the last 40 years has been horse racing. I initially started off as an owner. We then got into breeding and then into trading. And obviously by default became a punter. The most exciting part, apart from being as a winner, is having a winning bet at the same time. Obviously that's not always easy, but with the help of Interbet and their transparent information, it makes trading and betting a lot easier. I've had over 38 Group 1 winners and continue to try to strive for that thrill of having a winner. The thrill of owning a horse and winning a race is indescribable. But if they're serious about it and serious about punting, is to get a leg in and really follow Interbet to the max. It's the only way they can be ahead of the game.
Right, well, let's go and have a look what we've got in current affairs. We're going to have the 2 Cape races, and we're going to have the Cox Plate, and then a whole lot of news. Let's go to our sting.
Hi and welcome to another edition of Current Affairs. As James alluded to, we've got the start of the Cape season and it's now getting into stride. We had a Group 3 and a Group 2 on the day. Very interesting racing. The colts were quicker than the fillies, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Then before we finish up on showing you races, we will be showing you Winx's run in the third Cox Plate victory for the mare. But we've got some facts about the race we'll talk to you before we show it, James. And let's start off in Cape Town. The first of all, the Cape Classic. It's a pointer and a great success again for Captain L.
Absolutely. He's just a magnificent stallion. Tapper North, homebred, bred by the Fosters. They've got some very good breeding stock. They've done very well. And Vaughan Marshall, he's the king.
He's king, yeah.
These mile races, he's just different class, 1400 mile.
Yeah, 14 is Captain L's game, eh?
This horse looks like he'll probably be the right horse in the Guineas at this stage. But let's go and have a look at them. I was very impressed with the fourth horse, Sir Frenchie. I know you bought him at the sale, and I was very impressed with his run. He came from a long, long way back, and I tell you, he might be a consideration in the
He's coming about it the right way. Very well bred horse, Schwazier. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's have a look at it.
And Virtues at the back of the field, 9 or 10 lengths would cover them. 600 metres left to go, and Billy Silver's on the lead. On the outside, Undercover Agent presses up to join that one. Cot Campbell is poised to have a crack at him just in behind the leaders. Tapper North is also right there too, and in behind that Rock and Russian. They follow then by Sniper Shot as they flatten for the run to the home, and they have 350 left to the line. Billy Silver still in front. Undercover Agent now comes forward to pick it up on the outside. Tapper North between runners is also right in touch with him. It's Undercover Agent. Tapper North along the inside. These two are fighting it out. Undercover Agent, but Tapper North is claiming the advantage along the inside, and Tapper North too strong, draws away. Undercover Agent second, up behind that. Cot Campbell up for third. Further back then to Sir Frenchie.
Yeah, very good race, and the Captain L's 1 and 2, they were clear. The rest of them were scrambling for that third spot, but some good runs, as James said. So Frenchie coming from last was a good effort, and Cot Campbell went off his favourite.
Yeah, there's big raps on this horse. I think that I'm not so sure, because I think that at those weights he had the best chance he'll have to beat these horses at level weights is where he's got to meet them next time.
Correct.
He won't beat them at level weight.
I agree with you.
I wouldn't think. But then we move on to probably the most masterful ride of the week, and this guy's riding really well. But this was a fantastic ride. The time showed that he dictated the pace to perfection in front. Let's go and have a look at Snow Dance winning the Fillies Championship.
The lead, Freedom Charter races in behind that. Elusive Heart is looping runners 4 wide on the turn. She's going around them all. Seems that the jockey hasn't got much control of that one. Merrill is also caught very deep on the turn. They're becoming very compact as they spin into the stretch now, and off that false rail they head for home with 450 left to the line. Snow Dance bought the field for home. She has it by a couple. She's the one they got to get to. In behind that, Rosenbloom is setting out after her. They being followed deeper out in the track then by Lady in Black, who's trying to get into it. Snow Dance is still a big leader though as they come to the final 150. They're going to have to pick up their feet to catch this one. Magical Wonderland is setting out after her, but Snow Dance is well clear, and Snow Dance start to finish runs them off their feet. Magical Wonderland second. In behind that towards the outside, Rosenbloom gets up for third. Too Fat to Fly was further back, followed then by O.
Well, this was some performance. Really a brilliant ride, as James said. And you can look, the times, the colts were nearly a second faster. And Bernard Fader, James, this was really tactically brilliant.
Well, he drawn 17. So he made a decision. No one else obviously wanted to go. And the sadness of the race was Princess Peach was scratched because she looked like she'd be certainly right up there, and she was drawn 15. But anyway, you can't detract from the way this filly won. She's Captain L out of Joshua Dancermere. She cost $2 million, so she's got everything in her favour. But she's had only 2 starts. She could be very good, this filly. She's
3 starts now, isn't it?
There's a third start, yeah. Third start.
Magical Wonderland, she ran a good race.
I thought she ran a cracking good race. Yeah. And she had a lot of ground to make up. You see the race, Fader turns into the straight, goes straight up the middle, and he just goes clear, and everything else is scrambling. Everything else under pressure, and obviously the track's not running that slow, so you're hard to make up the ground.
Dennis's unbeaten filly, they're always out deep, never gone to the race.
Never gone to the race.
Will be a better horse next time.
Oh yes, no doubt. I think that there's building up to a fantastic season, and certainly there's some very, very good fillies around. enjoying the look of the lot of. There were some fillies here that were absolutely beautiful. Oh, Susanna, one of the most beautiful
the
fillies
street
I've ever
craft,
seen.
beautiful.
What
There's
a
some
beautiful
really.
filly.
We're still going to see a lot of water flow on the bridge with these horses, but there were some beautiful horses there.
Yeah. We're going to go and talk about Winks now, but Winks is a Magic Millions graduate. So let's go and have a look at the Magic Millions graduate this week. This doesn't quite fit into Winks' category. Silent Starship, Star Spangled Banner, that one during the week in South Africa. And Winks also comes from the Magic Millions. Let's go and check her out winning.
Well, just before we check her out, didn't some guy get 20 days? Damon Oliver?
Damon Oliver, you're quite right.
Yeah, what does he do wrong, James?
Well, he apparently leans on the horse on his inside. Now, I've just got to go to my notes.
The field's
this is
here.
quite interesting. Royal Symphony was the horse on his inside. He rode a horse called...
Chop Happy.
Schiffer, what's it called?
Happy Chopper or...
No, that went to the front.
Chop Happy, I think it's...
Happy Clapper, maybe. Chop Happy. Galileo Chop, that wasn't him. He rode, he didn't ride that. He rode a horse called Seenbrucher. That's what he wrote, okay?
Okay. Well, let's go and see. I've got him down on another horse, so this should be interesting.
Anyway, quite interesting. You watch it, they're just behind Winks, and he gets 20.
Behind Winks?
Winks is in front of him,
yes.
Okay? And he's pushing the horse behind Winks onto the rail,
Got you.
So we'll pick it up and we'll see what the story is. In the meantime, while we're watching the race, we'll try and pick up what horse he's riding. Let's go and see.
They're racing, and Winks got away cleanly. Galo chopped towards the inside of her, was away the best. From Seaburge on the inside, and not far away is Hardham, and they were followed by Folkeswood with the white cappers booting up. Now Winks is 4 and 5 deep, just staying out of trouble at the moment. Royal Symphony behind her, followed by Happy Clapper, and 2 lengths away to Humidor. So they head towards the mile, 1600 out. Galo Chop, the pilot, by a length and a half. 2 in second, Folkeswood, so no surprises. 2 further back is Hardham, third the outside of Seaburge. A couple of lengths to Winks, followed by Humidor. Royal Symphony at the back, one off the fence, and Happy Clapper 3 deep around it. They head towards the top corner with 1,300 metres to go. Galo Chop in front by a length and a half to Folkeswood. 2 lengths Seaburge on the inside of Hardham. 2 lengths to Winks, the outside of Humidor at the 1,200. Then Happy Clapper and Royal Symphony on the rails is at the end, heading towards halfway now. 1,000 metres to go in the Cox Plate, and it's Galo Chop in front by a length. Second is Folkeswood. 2 further back in the field, Hardham the outside of Seaburge. Then came Winks. Next Humidor, Happy Clapper. Royal Symphony is last of all towards the side of the 800. Galo Chop in front, trying to dictate 3/4 of a length, Folkeswood. Then came Hardham. Winks peels to the outside now. Then came Seaburge, Humidor, Happy Clapper, and Royal Symphony. So with 600 to go, Galo Chop in front, but here comes Winks on the outside, sliding up now. We've waited 35 years for this, and Winks moves up to Galo Chop, followed further back by Folkeswood between them. 2 further back, Humidor and Royal Symphony. It's Galo Chop at the 350. Winks on the outside. Bowman hasn't moved yet. The valley's rocking and the world is knocking. Winks goes to the front. 200 to go. Humidor to the outside. It's Winks in front by a length. Humidor on the outside is trying hard. It's Winks in front. Humidor's coming at her. Winks is holding on. The great mare completes the great trilogy of the turf. Winks has won the Cox Plate by...
Well, there we go. Fantastic. Full house. Everyone carrying little flags and the little M on the flags for the owners. James, this is a superstar. You know, people are always saying we'd love to see a race over 10 furlongs between her and Enable, the 2 superstar girls at the moment.
Won't see it.
They won't see it, you're right.
Happen, yeah.
Yeah, but I was just saying, I couldn't see the Damon Oliver infringement, so
it
I
doesn't
don't know.
look bad at all. I looked at it a couple of times. He's definitely on Happy Clapper, and he's in the blue colours, okay? And they say he forced him onto the rail.
I didn't see it. But it got 20 days.
20 days for that. You know, the
That's-
guys here bring down horses and they get 7 days, so it's just 3 meetings. You get 20 meetings. Not 20 days, 20 meetings. You know,
In England, it's 12 days.
Well, in South Africa, you know what it would be. The guy rides in Durban, it would be 10 weeks. You know.
James, the filly now has earned a ridiculous amount. She's
15 million. She broke Maccabi Diva's record.
You're just touching on Maccabi Diva. You know, I got his name.
No?
The guy who owned it got all his secretaries. Took the first 2 letters of his secretaries who worked for him, their first letters of the name, put them together, like Mary, Diane, Maccabi Diva.
One wonders on that basis what was going on between him and his secretaries, that he had to have all their names.
Well, I don't follow that type of thinking normally. I'm a very moral man. But I get what you're saying.
Is that immoral?
It's completely immoral. He had at least 8 secretaries.
And what would his wife have to say about it?
She got he gave them a share as well.
Yeah.
He gave them a share as well. So you might be right. So they used to lead it in. But that was Maccabi Diva. But Winks, unbelievable. And the time course record.
Yeah, course record. And on top of that, the 600 to finish 34.93. 600 to finish sectional. Just, I think she's tired now. She looked like it, but geez, when you break the course record, how far do you expect to win by? You know, the second horse, they fitted him with blinkers, Tony Rivlin's horse.
Yeah, ran well, Humidor.
Yeah, and he ran a cracking good race. I like Humidors, you know, they're very good places to keep cigars.
Keep cigars, that's right.
Yeah. And so...
You and Winston Churchill.
Yeah,
let's talk about Aidan O'Brien.
Well, he had his 26th Group 1 winner, so he holds the record now. But what was interesting about it was in the Racing Post at Doncaster, which
Great race.
It is the big trial run for the Classics next year.
Yeah. James, what I found interesting, what you told me, I didn't realise it, is the pedigree of the horse.
Yeah.
They've obviously gone to Deep Impact, because the mare maybe is top draw.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of others they've gone to Deep Impact that are racing.
Absolutely. Well, the other one that they got is a filly called September, who's going to the Breeders' Cup
in November.
for the mile. Yeah, and next week the Breeders' Cup's Friday and Saturday. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But just talking about this horse Saxon Warrior that won the Racing Post, I think this is the right horse for the Guineas and the Derby next year. He just looks like a big, strong...
This is the world's best stallion, Deep Impact. Stakes money.
Isn't it amazing? They send their mares all the way to Japan.
They use their braids.
To Deep Impact. But just as amazing was that the second horse is a horse called Roaring Lion, and he's by Kitten's Joy. So the best race in England for 2-year-olds, okay, the biggest pointer is won by an American-based stallion and a Japanese-based stallion.
Japan's got the stake money.
Deep Impact, what a stallion
What a stallion. Yeah, they've been very strong for a long time, the Deep Impacts. All over the world, they bring them out and they race them, and they're superstars.
Yeah.
Just I want to touch on something you did last week. I got an email from Gary Bates, and I thank you, Gary, just telling me something I didn't know when I made the comment about James Herron, James Herron Bloodstock. He had got this Red Cell, the winner of the Everest, the $10 million richest turf race. He'd got the slot. But what happens is, over 3 years, you pay $600,000, and you get the slot.
$600,000 a year.
A year.
Yeah.
So he had this slot. And the horse was bought by the Ward brothers. Yeah. This was the syndicate, and the Ward brothers, he sold the slot to them.
He probably did a share of the stakes.
So interesting to note that he had the slot in the race,
but none of his horses that he had were good enough to get in the slot.
He's got a lot of horses with Snowden, and they weren't good enough. But this horse with Snowden was flying. Yeah. So he did a deal with them, and I think they all came out smiling.
I think it was fantastic, absolutely amazing.
St. Cloud, what's happening? What's this writing, or not writing, but barring?
No rights. The French don't write. They don't fight as a French. They love us.
They like a croissant and a glass of red.
Yeah. So what happened was that they parked off in the front of the weighing room. The owners, trainers, and breeders parked off in front of the weighing room and had a protest on a Grand Criterium Day. It's the biggest French Group 1 2-year-old races.
France Gallup. Their gripe is they've cut the stakes.
Yeah,
the purse money's been cut.
25 million euros. They cut.
Yeah. So what happens to the guys like Aidan O'Brien, some of those British trainers who sent horses out to try and win this?
I'll tell you what I think happened to them. They probably went to the Champs-Elysees and had a glass of red like the French do, and a couple of croissants, because they weren't racing. Sure. There was no racing. So what do you do in France?
Yeah,
you don't pick up a French girl.
Well, again, your line of thinking is completely different to mine, James. But I can tell you, I'm a moral person. Good. Right, let's talk about the upcoming Breeders' Cup. Now, you've managed to find out where Aidan O'Brien's taking his team.
Yes.
Give us an idea.
It's very interesting. Churchill, he's got penciled in for the Breeders' Cup Classic, which is the dirt race.
Yes.
And he's got him in the Breeders' Cup Mile. He says he's going to run in the Classic because he says he's a lot like Giant's Causeway, same type of horse, and he thinks that he's the right horse. Giant's Causeway got beaten in the Classic.
That's
if you
right.
remember.
Yeah.
So then he's also got Happily in the Fillies. He's got September in the Fillies Mile. She's a deep impact. He's got US Navy Flag in the Juvenile Dirt, and he's got another one in the Juvenile Turf, Mendelssohn in the Juvenile Turf.
What's the story with Mubtahij? I think you
Mubtahij,
mentioned it.
okay, we'll talk about the Classic, because the Classic is the big race. You've got Mubtahij entered in the Classic. You've got Collected, Gunrunner, Arrogate. So, you know, it's
Bob Baffert, Strong, they're all strong.
Power field, yeah.
Mubtahij is with Baffert, isn't it?
Yeah, so Baffert's got 3 or 4 horses in there.
Arrogate, Mubtahij, Connected.
Yeah.
You know, sure.
But Gunrunner's the one that's going to try and upset them all. I love Gunrunner. He's got a face of a little pony. You must watch him. The Breeders' Cup's going to be late, but it's going to be well worth watching.
Fantastic,
we'll bring you the whole thing next week in your call.
Yeah, we'll have
Ribchester is going for the Breeders' Cup Mile, and
the Dolphin must have a good few coming.
Well, they always do, don't they? You know,
Yeah.
and they obviously got horses placed there as well. I think they'll go for the juvenile races quite strongly. The Dolphin.
Is it Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, Friday, Saturday. What's interesting about Ribchester is he's been announced to stand at the Darley Stud in Ireland, Kildangan, and he's standing at €30,000. So Ribchester, if you want to go to him, that's where you got to go.
Just touching on sales, Mickey Goss said he's ready to run. I went up to it.
380,000 for the top price.
380,000, yeah, for the top price. There was a very nice trippy filly that was bought. I thought at a good price. But overall, James, I think 5.5 million for his 60 horses.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Very
There's
good.
money about. Well done to Mickey and his team, and it was a good afternoon.
Okay, just the best racehorses in Europe. Cracksman's top at 130, Enable 128, and the best news of the whole week.
Are they stablemate? No, they're not. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are.
They are. They are
They're
stablemates. Correct.
The best news of the whole week is that we've. It's on the websites or whatever, and Turf Talk announced it, and David Safi, I phoned him to confirm. But the Racing Association come to the party to try and get form grids up and running again.
Fantastic.
And you know, we all love form grids because it's a great
It's a great tool.
It's a great tool to collateral form lines.
Yeah.
And let's hope they get it up because it is
Well done to Larry and RA. Well done to
fantastic.
them.
And I think it's, you know, the RA is there to help the racing industry. This certainly is a great move afoot. Let's hope it all goes well for them, and congratulations. We're going to bring you how to train a racehorse, which we're both beginners at, me more so than you. And
No, there's nothing much in it.
yeah, to just, as you know.
Stock.
Closing the doors.
Yasmanel stock.
Okay. Let's move on. Well, there's an art to training a racehorse, and the thing is, most people don't realize how much effort there goes into actually buying and then prepping horses to get to a race. This gives you a little insight on what goes on in a racehorse training stable. I think it's a great 3-part series. We'll show the first part this week, and then next week we're going to do the Breeders' Cup, and after that we'll fill in the other 2 parts if we get the positive feedback, which is, I'm sure we will. Enjoy it.
As the 2012 flat season gets underway, a new generation of 2-year-old racehorses will emerge into public view. But how are they prepared? What has to happen before they make it onto the racecourse and onto our screens? Once they become racehorses, how is their progress managed and maintained? How do you make a racehorse? For the first time ever, At the Races cameras will follow the fortunes of 4 juvenile thoroughbreds not yet seen in public, 2 colts and 2 fillies. With exclusive access, we'll follow the horses being prepared, conditioned and trained to race. We'll follow them to the track and share their successes and failures. Each one is unique, but they all face the same challenge, the challenge of realising their potential on the track. To follow our 4, we've come to one of the country's oldest and best established training centres, to Lambourn, the Valley of the Racehorse. Malthouse Stables in Upper Lambourn is the base of trainer Jamie Osborne. One of the leading jump jockeys of his era, he's chosen to focus on the flat as a trainer, and with a good deal of success. 4 times a Royal Ascot winner, and a trainer with a good record of preparing young horses, including the likes of Dewhurst winner Milk It Mick. Before we meet our 4 to follow, Jamie Osborne explains what he looks for when buying young horses.
Value, really. You've got to remember we go into a market scenario where you've got horses with different levels of pedigree, different levels of physique. We are not going to go to an auction and buy a top-class pedigree with a horse that's attached to a horse with a beautiful physique, because they're just going to make far too much money. So to a degree what we buy is a sort of balanced compromise between pedigree and physique. When our average yearling spend is probably about £25,000, but you've got to be realistic about what we're actually buying. We're going to be buying to the middle to bottom end of the market, the very commercial end of the market. So we're looking for something which is going to be value, has got the probability of it punching above its weight is there, But we have to accept that a lot of them, sadly, it turns out to have been a waste of money. They're not as good as we hoped they were going to be. So we're trying to buy something that looks sound, has enough maturity and strength to it that it's going to be trainable as a 2-year-old. More and more, people are less inclined to want to wait. So your big immature horse probably isn't for us. Keeping a horse in training isn't cheap. I want to keep my clients happy, and asking them to wait 12, 18 months before the horse comes to fruition isn't what everybody wants.
The first of our 4 to follow is a compact and lively filly named Devout.
The first filly is a Holy Roman Emperor filly out of a Linner mix mare called Ruffa Mix. She's quite typical. She's not very big, but she's very strong. Quite a lively little character, as you'll see. But she goes well. I had hoped that she would have been sort of out earlier than she is, but she will run in May, all being well. She doesn't have much pedigree. She only cost $12,000 at Doncaster. But I think she was probably a good buy, and what we've seen of her so far, we like her. She is what she is, she's as wide as she's tall, she's got all the strength she's ever going to have, so she needs to get going early. She's not one that's necessarily going to improve with time.
Okay, and mentally, in terms of her character and how she's responded to training, how's she been?
Not as nice as I would have liked. Well, no, there's nothing wrong with her. She's lively. She's lively. I've had other fillies by him that have actually been similar, that have done okay. They're just management cases. She's not difficult. She's just, we just got to live with her. That's her, and just put up with her.
I asked Jamie to fill us in on what happens with a young horse when it first arrives at his yard from the sales.
We're developing it. It comes to us if it's been through a sale ring. Obviously, it's had a certain amount of preparation for that sale, and in a way they're much easier to deal with. Those type of horses, they're kind of half broken when you get them. So we would bring them back from the sales, They would go through the whole breaking process, which in itself is it's simple in some ways, but it's but obviously what you're doing is introducing a rider to a horse's back. It's never had a rider on it. So then the first few months of being ridden are all about education, and during that education process, you're conditioning the horse. You have to subject them to a certain amount of stresses in order for them to adapt so that they can withstand the rigours of training going forward. If you're a little bit punchy with them in December, your prevalence of sore shins and sore joints and knees will actually lessen when you're starting to bring them forward through the spring or the summer. So it's education and conditioning that is the process they go through from that point they arrive here.
The second of our 4 to follow is yet to be named, but she's the easiest of the quartet to spot. A handsome chestnut with a bit of a swagger to her.
Yeah, the second filly, the chestnut filly, is by Auction House, out of a mare called Thicket. She didn't go through a sale ring. She was bred by David Hodge at Letty Stud, and so I bought her privately from him. I'm not sure why she didn't go through a ring, actually, because that wouldn't normally be David's scene. But we like her. I mean, she's obviously by a stallion that probably you'd have to say has failed. The mare's had lots of foals, lots of them have been moderate, but then there was one that was quite good. She's surprised me in the last few weeks with how well she's done. She came in a bit later than the others, and she's always just been playing catch-up, but she's kind of there now. And I didn't expect to be saying this, but I'd say she'll run in May as well. And we haven't finally kind of just let her handbrake off yet because of the weather and how they were, but it's imminent. And if I'm making the right prediction, I think what we're going to see when we do that is going to be okay.
Having introduced half of the quartet, I asked Jamie to explain in a bit more detail what level of training the fillies were currently undergoing.
What you saw them do this morning was a warm-up trot, a warm-up first canter, where they cantered 4 furlongs, and then they came back and they cantered 6 furlongs, of which the last 3, as you saw, were at a decent pace. They're going 13, 14 seconds a furlong. So I've abandoned, to a degree, I've abandoned steady canters. I used to do steady canters, and I think they're an absolute waste of time. I think you need to get these horses conditioned to what's coming before, and a lot of it is about repetition. And obviously, if they can't cope with it, we back off them. But all the horses you saw this morning were doing it within themselves. Nothing was struggling. They're healthy enough now that they can do that. And it's about, we're using those canters that it's then a very small step from that canter to a piece of work. It's not a massive leap. The shape of that gallop that we went up, the Kingsdown gallop that we went up this morning, the first bit is a climb. They go steady through the climb. It levels out. It's a little bit of a step at the end. It climbs at the end. But that's where they're doing, they're sailing on. That's not a million miles away from a piece of work.
The third of the quartet and the first of our colts is Hardy Red. He's at a similar stage of preparation to the fillies.
Yeah, Hardy Red, he's the Mujadil out of Salonga. He came from Book 2 in Newmarket. I think he cost 27,000. So he was a kind of, we don't spend much money on yearlings anymore. So he was one of the more expensive ones that we bought last year, and has no pedigree at all. He's just a hell of a physique, as you see. He's a big, strong, mature colt. And I suppose 27 was enough for his pedigree. Mujadil is a bit of a Marmite stallion, really. People either love him or hate him. And he's been around a long time, and he's about finished now. But we've had a lot of luck with him in the past. Irony won the Windsor Castle for us in the 2002, I think it was. He was a Mujadil. And we've done all right with them. He's just a kind of good, tough, hard-knocking looking colt. I'm not saying he's about to go and win a Coventry, but he looks like he's capable of going to win his maiden, and then we'll see where we go from there.
The second colt, and the fourth and final member of our 4, is a big, imposing colt who has still some growing to do and is currently a bit behind the other 3 in his preparation.
The last colt, called Excellent Puck, got to be careful with that, haven't we? He's an excellent art colt with a nice pedigree. out of Puck's Castle. And it's quite a nice family, this horse from, and I think he probably was the most expensive one that we bought. He was 38,000 euros from Goffs, but I think he was great value. I think he would have been more expensive had he been in Newmarket. Goff suffered a little bit last year. People were kind of abandoning it for some reason. So I think there's great value there. He's not ready to run. He's a different type of horse to the other three. But I kind of feel that there's something about him that I think he might just be worth following. He's a lovely mover. He's got the most superb temperament, and he's the first excellent art I've had. Everybody tells me that is one of the key things about them. They have got superb temperament. So he's more likely to, well, we'll have to see how he progresses through the next sort of month or so. But I wouldn't really be thinking of warming him up until sort of July time. We'll give him that bit of time. As you can see, he's a slightly different physique to the others. He's going to be a big scopy horse, but he's sort of a little bit in pieces at the moment. But he still has to keep going through the process. You have to keep them in the gym. You have to keep them doing what they're doing. You can't, obviously his workload isn't as intense as a horse that's about to come to the race course. But they still need to be doing plenty. But in a guarded, sort of more controlled way.
Join us next time when we'll see the level and intensity of work increase as Jamie puts those that are ready to the test. We'll see these horses experience their first hard workouts and see how they respond as we continue to learn how to make a racehorse.
Your world of winners is now online at www.teletrack.com. Simply subscribe to log into your account from any mobile device in South Africa and access a wide variety of content from our membership package options. Listen in via a live audio stream, catch live racing locally and internationally, or view a wide variety of Teletrack magazine shows to stay informed and updated on the go at any time. It's never been easier. Go to teletrack.com now.